It took Edward and Joan 60 years to save their retirement nest egg, but it took just days for hackers to take the lot. And what's worse, they say their bank didn't act.
Hey Google, stop.
Edward might be 86 and wife Joan 82, but they're switched on to the digital world.
You know, I'm not a 15-year-old and it's all pretty easy, but the only problem is you can get into trouble.
The couple even doing their banking online.
So who does the banking in this family?
I do. He said before we were married that he'd look after the money, and I was very agreeable at the time. I said, fine.
So that's the secret to a good marriage, yeah?
Yes. So I have a message myself.
But 60 years into this union, an unexpected spanner. In fact, more a sledgehammer.
They took us to the cleaners.
These good sports have been flawed by a sophisticated bunch of heartless hackers.
It went over 3 days. They took out 11 withdrawals. Do you want to know the amount?
I'm too scared to ask.
$249,000.
Jesus.
That's what I thought, but he wasn't there.
No amount of praying was going to get that $250,000 back.
What did it say?
It said that you've successfully logged into 190.2.3, which is an IP address, and you've sent $10 to Louise Parsons in Nigeria.
Who's Louise?
Yeah, well, she's obviously the girlfriend.
That text, Edward says, triggered this massive scam. A fake Microsoft operation pretending to be in Adelaide warned the PayPal pirates were trying to raid their bank accounts.
You've got to say Microsoft, and then the code is 0462 or whatever.
And before too long,
he was getting into the bank and he was taking money. For the 4 days, they had carte blanche.
The figures frightening and unforgettable.
First day, they took out 3 entries that totaled 20,000, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 the first day. The second day, they did the 20,000, 10,000, and 20,000, plus 50,000, plus 49,900. So that was 150,000, less $100. And then on the next day, the Saturday, they took out 20,000, 10,000, 20,000, another 50, which totaled 11 entries, $249,000.
Wow.
Joan and Edward used 3 banks. 2 of them instantly raised red flags and blocked the transactions.
National and HSBC, bingo, they shut it down immediately. And if we had been with them, there's a good possibility that we wouldn't have lost a cent.
The better big bank.
But Bendigo Bank did nothing for 4 days.
Do you think Bendigo Bank should have realised this transaction was unusual?
Absolutely. The payees were not people that we've ever paid before. B, it was an enormous amount of money that was going through. And
you never used the account, really?
Yeah, that's right.
Not in the past 2 years.
They say that generally a bank does not have an obligation to monitor transactions on its customer's behalf and reimburse a customer for authorised payments to a third party. So that more or less says, go jump.
Who is this bank that has everyone's attention? Welcome to Bendigo Bank.
And it gets worse. The money came from a loan account.
And to charge you interest on that money, that's really kicking it in your face.
With the bank not budging, police have taken up the fight.
They've got me. They're going to get other people. And if you can make $250,000 in 3 days, you say, this is the best job I've ever had in my life.
Despite the loss, Edward and Joan can still count their blessings.
I'm not a worrier. To me, you know, we have our health, we have each other, we have our family.
There's no way out of it. You've just got to put your nose to the grindstone and get it back there and pay it off.
But they'd hate for others to fall into the same costly mistake.
And that's why we're doing this interview, so that we can educate other people and so that they don't get scammed, because it's disastrous.
They've got a great attitude. Let's hope their bank has the same. Bendigo Bank says it takes cybersecurity very seriously, but reminds customers they are the first line of defence by keeping their information secure. Their full statement is on our website.